We're at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Let's make some noise. Oh, and it's going to be
what? Corner judges go for 1, 2, dip. He needs more.
They're doing even more here. You gotta touch the point. Mr. Collins walks it in.
Joy Blank is going to drop.
Knife him.
Right out in front.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, running.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another year at the Barbasol Smooth Skin Selection Show. Of course, I'm your host, Paulie Hype, and I'm so excited as we get into all the seeding, competition, and storylines here for the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup, which will be coming up this weekend, May 5th to 7th at Esports Stadium Arlington for CECC Texas. Woo! I am so excited to be here. I could barely sit in my chair and bring in this intro, but this tournament is going to be the biggest, largest, and best college esports event ever. So tonight we are here to give the breakdown, the rundown, and catch you all up to date around the country about the top 64 teams that will be coming in competing this weekend down at CECC Texas. But, however, we do have a wonderful intro from the Chief Esports Officer over at CSMG, which is Angela Bernhard Thomas. So without further ado, this would not be possible without Angela. I would not be here without Angela. So let's take a listen here from Chief Esports Officer Angela Bernhard Thomas. Angela, over to you.
Welcome, everyone, to the CECC Smooth Skin Selection Show brought to you by Barbasol. I'm Angela Bernhard Thomas, Chief Esports Officer at CSMG and Esports U. Thank you for tuning in for the big reveal of the final 64 teams participating in the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup on May 6th and 7th, live at Esports Stadium Arlington. I wanted to take a few minutes and give you a brief summary of how bids are managed for our event. Our event is invitational and is the culmination of year-round competition. This year, 14 conferences accepted bids to send their selective teams to represent their conference to compete in our event. We also host unique qualifying events, which consist of Esports U regional events, as well as events with extended partners that are part of our community, such as an all-women's Valorant bid in partnership with Xbox and Padia, a Canada qualifier, the first ever Service Academy qualifier in partnership with Army West Point Esports, the Air Force Academy, and the Naval Academy, an HBCU bid sponsored by McDonald's, and the Last Chance qualifier in which over 130 schools participated in this year. Additionally, we try to elevate schools from the market where our event is taking place. So this year, we have 6 schools from Texas competing in the event. Across 4 game titles, all of these teams will compete in Overwatch 2, Valorant, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Rocket League. As a quick preview to the live event, there will be over 160 PC stations on the floor in Esports Stadium Arlington, the largest college esports live event ever. We will also host the Vanta Middle School and High School Texas Championship. There will be open tournaments with Omega Strikers, open tournaments with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We have PC giveaways from McDonald's and many of our other sponsors, a cosplay competition, a Shark Tank style event pitch competition from over 40 students in the Dallas area, corporate recruiters for students to speak with, scholarship opportunities from coaches and athletic directors across the country, and a whole host of panels that are educational for students, industry executives, and parents alike, and lots of sponsor activities from our sponsors. So we appreciate you for joining to look in on the seed selection show. Good luck and have fun to all the teams. And stay tuned at the end of our show for a special commemorative message from our co-founder and CEO at CSMG, Michael Schreck. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy.
Thank you, Angela. That was a wonderful speech right there. Loved hearing every single second of that. Woo! That's getting me hyped. Just waiting for us to get into this action. And coming up next, we are going to start with our very first game here for the Smooth Skin Selection Show. which is going to be Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. But before we get into the SSBU seating, we're going to have to do a special little treat, baby. It's time for 2 things back to back. First off, I'm going to try to give myself a haircut. I don't know if you guys can see it, but my hair, I'm bald. I think we all know that. But my hair is growing in here on the sides. It's feeling a little, shabby over here. And my neck is it's just not professional enough for me. So I'm going to ask production to throw a timer up on the screen. And I'm going to give myself a haircut real quick with Barbasol, the classic shaving cream here. And I've got my Barbasol razor. And right here, we are going to give a haircut on stream right now. So that timer's up and going. I'm going to take that challenge. Can I do it in under a minute? I don't know, but we're going to find out. Give yourself a little bit of shaving cream on the hand here. That's where I put it. Okay, now we go over on the head. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Shaving cream on the head here. Okay, I'm getting it nice and lather. I'm going to put you all on right now. Shaving 101 with Paulie. Okay, so we get it all over the head. All right. Get it on the suit. It's happening. All right. We're going to add a little bit of water here. Now we got to go to the beard. Okay. Now we go to the top layer of the beard right here. I'm going to go on the angle, right? Now I'm going to go here on the angle. I'm going to teach you guys something right now. Or this is going to go horrible and I'm going to botch the whole thing. Okay. We get a little bit more here. This is going to be great. Now we go on the beard, okay? Now we go on the beard. Oh, that feels good. Oh, that's good. Barbasol, smooth. That goes on smooth. Beautiful. Okay. All right, now, here goes the tough part. We get the razor. Okay. We're at 1.5 minutes. I start, okay? I'm going to teach you right now. You start, you go top to bottom. I'm going to go whole head in clean little strokes. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, I can feel it. That was a good one right there. So you go from top back. Take it from me. I know what I'm doing. Okay. Top back. Oh, God. I'm ruining the suit. That's all right. Oh, this is good. Now we're going to use the screen here. Get as close as we can. There we go. Production got the mirror up for me right now. Learn to love it. Woo! Oh, this is smooth. I'm going to feel like a million after this one. Okay, now we did the top. We're going to just do a quick. So I went from top to bottom in the back, and now I'm doing back to top. And this is getting all the hairs. I can feel it. I'm going to be smooth after this one, college esports players. Let's go. And I hope you're all getting excited and ready. Because this weekend we'll be down in Texas. Oh, the shaving cream's getting in my eye. Just kidding. Okay, so we did it right there. We got top to back. Now we're going to line the beard. And this one I have to look in the mirror for, right? Uh-oh. Okay, this isn't going good. All right, no, that's not going good. Here we go. We're going to go like this. Boom. Clean. Now we're going to go like this. Let me show you. Clean. And now we do the neck. Let me show you here. That's how you do the neck. Okay. Oh, this is good. Oh, yeah, this shirt's ruined. All right. That feels fantastic. And all I'm going to do now is use a little water. Get that lather going. Here we go. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Stop that timer. Stop that timer. I don't think I look any different. 3.5 minute haircut. Hey, I was able to do it without the closed mirror, and that's just getting started. But I'll tell you right now, my head, ooh, you would have thought I went to the barber. I mean, I got to do a couple little close-up lines, but for shaving on stream, you would have thought I went to the barber. Woo! Let's go. So without further ado, that was 3.5 minutes clean. without further ado, we are going to go and get into our very first game here, which is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And before we get into the seating, we have a very special content piece with Septilence and the assistant director, Aaron of Fisher College, one of the predominant forces here at CECC Texas. But we still got to do the 10 seconds of hype, baby. So, woo! Let's get into it. Get this suit off me. I don't even want to see it. We're about to get into 64 of the top college esports teams right here in the country. We're going to learn the seeds from number 1 all the way to 16 in 4 different game titles. And we're going to see exactly where the competition playing field will be going against each other to open and start the weekend this weekend at CECC Texas. So without further ado, woo! I'm so excited for this. Septilence and Aaron, please enjoy this clip between the two.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another interview here with Septilence. You probably know who I am if you've been watching these interviews, but this time my guest, of course, is different. This is Aaron, aka Paradox Muse from Fisher College, who is the assistant program director as well as the de facto, but perhaps officially untitled Smash Ultimate controller, coach, director. So, Aaron, I know that coming into this, the Fisher College program has just a wide berth of game coverage, right? You guys are in almost every single game, if not all of them. You're bringing some of the best ranked teams in the country to each game you're coming to. So this is a very deep roster or very deep program from Fisher College. So going into this, do you feel there's some kind of expectation or shoes to fill or maybe targets on your back of being such a recognizable program?
Yeah, I mean, kind of all of the above on that question, right? So, we have top 5 ranked teams in every single game that we're bringing with us, either number 1 or number 2, if I'm looking across. And, even down to like previous number 2s and have fallen down some of the rankings, just depending on the games. But honestly, we've made a lot of adjustments over this past semester, over this past month, realistically, to bring on some new life into some of those rosters, as well as like some role changes for certain individuals. So, of course, we are shooting for the title in all of these games. We are in all 4 games. I believe it is us and one other school right now that's kind of in all of those games. So we're really excited about that and just kind of the level of competition that our students have had. But, it does always paint a target on our back.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming into this, and we did just get confirmation, you are actually the only school competing in all 4. So there's a cool little title you guys get to wear proudly going into this event. But your Smash Ultimate roster in particular is a unique and interesting one to me, and I'm sure many others, because there are some of you that are coming in off of last year's win as well. Many of you were a part of the team that was able to emerge with the CECC number 1 place victory. So going into this, that carries some weight as well. But there's a player you carry in particular by the name of Sonics from Fisher College that is one of the top 5 ranked players in the DR and one of the top 10 players ranked in the US. So one of the best statistically in the world. Is there some kind of thing where you're like, people are probably VOD reviewing this guy every day of the week? Like, has he become almost, what is the opposite of a secret weapon, right? He's almost so successful and so popular. Do you feel like maybe there's some shake in the roster because of that?
Not really. Like, Sonics is Sonics. He's going to go do Sonics things. Last semester, even when, he had competed at this event previously, like, he took 4 stocks or something like that in game number 2 against UCF, and then he came out and took 7, right, of the 9. Other players to shout out on this roster, too. Moxie, she's ranked 188th in North America. You have Tony Pajamas and Jerry, and G Extreme, who are all top 300 in North America as well, just based on, the individual rankings. And then everybody else on that roster, Kiwi, Sauce, Mateo, Budabam, Indecisive, MD, right? Just all these other players. They're still considered within the top 800, top 700 in America. I'm actually more interested in the side event. Like, shout out to CECC for doing that. That's a huge opportunity for these students, and just having a singles event. Absolutely love that. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see like at least half of the singles top 8 to be Fisher students.
I can absolutely believe that. That's one of the things I've always found so impressive about Fisher is the quality of your rosters kind of through and through across every game. So going into this, I think an important question would be what a victory can mean, right, for these students and more so for the Fisher College program, because it already is quite the recognized and acclimated program. But what does it mean kind of for the recognition of people that maybe don't fully understand what esports is? How does it add credibility to your program?
Yeah, I mean, having some sort of national championship at the end of that semester is so important to a lot of these students because it gives them a lot of validation for what they're doing. Again, with Overwatch, you kind of had the end of the main, if you will, championship here with ABC. And we didn't necessarily do that well in ABC or as well as we wanted to. This we're seeing as a redemption arc for Overwatch.
Sure.
If you're looking at Smash, there isn't necessarily a national title, so this is kind of what you're looking at for those two games. And Valorant and and Rocket League, these are tests for CVAL and Worlds, right? So it's kind of giving them the LAN experience for that. So all the rosters are coming in with different goals on what they need to do during this event. But honestly, winning this kind of, like I said, gives the main validation to these students. They've been working tirelessly. They're balancing their scrimmages. They're balancing their homework. They're balancing their study sessions. They're balancing friends. They're balancing social lives, right? They're all coming together. And it's just, this is all of their hard work just paying off in one singular large LAN event.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, it's great. And we see so much of the Fisher success right across these games. We've talked so much about that. So I do want to ask, are there any teams, and this can go for any of the programs, doesn't have to be the Smash Ultimate one in particular, anybody you're really excited to hopeful to get a matchup against? Maybe somebody you've lost previously or just some teams you've always really enjoyed playing? Is there someone you're like, let us get in the ring with them?
Yeah, I mean, so I know Overwatch, we're really excited to play a lot of the teams because I know we actually looked at this internally. During the regular season for ABC, we only played of the top 16 teams for that, we only played Rutgers, Maryville, ISU, Northwood, and Waterloo. So 5 of the top, and then if you include us, so we didn't even play 10 of the top 16 teams. There's 5 of them that we didn't get to play that are going to this event, so I'm really excited to play teams over there. Rocket League, a lot of these teams are all vying for Worlds, so it'll be nice to get the run back against Northwood and seeing them on LAN, as well as IRSC that, they placed really, really well previously in CRL. It'll be fun to see them on LAN too. For Valorant, again, Northwood, right? We've only lost to Northwood since since January. Since January, that's the only team that we've lost to. We lost to Converse. We lost to Winthrop in the earlier season. We've dropped maps along the way, of course. But getting the run back against Northwood from Red Bull, where, until St. Clair beat them in NACE. And then for Smash in particular, I know we're excited to play Michigan State on LAN. We've played them a ton online. So that'll be really interesting to see how well they do there. Playing Northwood offline too is another really awesome roster. And seeing Winthrop, we've yet to play Winthrop, but they have an incredibly strong Smash roster. A lot of people don't realize they have CJ Frozen, No Tag, so shout outs to those 2 players. Those are 2 highly ranked South Carolina players. So, we're excited to kind of play against those rosters.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Aaron, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for giving us all this wonderful insight on these teams and these programs, and we'll see you on Arlington.
Fantastic. See you there.
All right. Woo! Well, that was pretty good. That was a nice, clean shave right there. And I just got done freshening up myself. Well, that was from, of course, Aaron from Fisher and Septilence. But now we head on over to learn about the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup and, of course, the seeding for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So let's take a look here and bring in Kilomiles. I almost fused Septilence and Kilomiles into Septimiles. But let's bring in Kilomiles here. Okay. Well, we'll have Kilomiles on standby. But before we do, let's take a look at all the seeding here on the bracket for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So as we head over to SSBU, let's break it down. And we are going to start with Howard University. Congratulations, Howard. They're here from the Mid-Eastern Atlantic Athletic Conference. And also on behalf of historic Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, they're the 16th seed, but they come in Group A. Moving over to the next seed will be Florida State University. They made their way here from the East Coast Conference, of course, and they'll be holding down the 15th seed. And that'll be in Group B. Interesting tidbit about Florida State University, however, is that they actually defeated the defending ECC champions in New York Tech to make it here. That is amazing because New York Tech is a powerhouse in itself. Next up, we have California State University, Sacramento, which, of course, they came in through the CECC West Regional. They got the second place bid in that tournament there, and they come in as the 14th seed, and they will be competing in Group C. Group C there for California State University, Sacramento. Coming up next, we have University of Texas, Austin, which, of course, they made their way in through the Texas wild card, that local bid. And we had that at the 13th seed. So they're structured there at the 13th, and they will be in Group D. Now, I want to communicate this. These seedings have been thought out by some of the best minds in the entire space from top to bottom. And it's really exciting stuff. I am so curious to see how all these seeds wind up shaking out here in the tournament. Coming up next, we have Quinnipiac University. Quinnipiac, we saw them last year in the CECC. They came in through the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, of course, the MAC. They come in at the 12th seed, and they come in Group D. Group D for them right there. Next up, we have Manchester University. Let's make some noise for Manchester as they came in through the Great Lakes Esports Conference bid. They are the 11th seed here in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and they come in Group C. Interesting to note again, this team went largely undefeated in the GLEC, the Great Lakes Conference, and we'll see how they stack up against the rest of the field at the CECC this weekend. Next up, we have University of Texas, Dallas. They came in through University of Houston, Texas, Dallas, yes. They came in also through the Texas wild card. So we had two of those schools come in there. They come in at the 10th seed, top 10, and they are going to be in Group B to start things off this weekend. Next up is the University of Houston. They come in through the CECC South Regional second place winners. They retain the 9th seed, and they will be once again competing this weekend at the A group. Okay. Coming up next is University of California, Riverside. This team, they're entering Super Smash Bros. Ultimate through the CECC West Regional, and they won that event, of course. They come in as the 8th seed, and they will be competing in Group A to start things off this weekend. Next up, we have St. John's University right out here on the island. Woo! We see them enter through CECC East Regional as the second place winners. They come in as the 7th seed, and that will be in the B group to start things off this weekend. St. John's, a lot of eyes on them. Next up, we have University of Texas, Arlington. So this is actually the CECC South Regional winner, and they come into the tournament here looking to see, as one of the hope teams, expecting the home crowd as well, how they fare down here in Texas as they come in as the 6th seed, and we see them competing in Group C. These groups, I'll tell you right now, just looking over them, these groups are stacked from top to bottom, up, down, left, right, front, and back. There's no doubt about it. Coming up next, we have Northwood University. Northwood coming in. They wind up competing from the CECC Midwest Regional second place winners. They come in at the 5th seed, one of the top programs in the country. And also here in the D group is where we'll see Northwood competing in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Next up, we have another local, to Long Island at least, Winthrop University. Winthrop, they will be competing and won the CECC Last Chance Qualifier. So, Last Chance Qualifier is where we saw Winthrop. They come in at the 4th seed, and they are also in the D group. Now we start rounding things off with the top 3 seeds for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Starting first is Fisher College East. They wound up winning the Eastern College Athletic Conference. It brings them in at the 3 seed, and we'll see them competing in the C group. Good luck to Fisher College East in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Next up, we have Michigan State University. Powerhouse notoriety, baby. Woo! They come in as they won the CECC East Regional winners. And they come in at the 2 seed, Midwest Regional winners, excuse me. They come in at the 2 seed, and they're in the B conference. Now, the number 1 seed, at least going into CECC Texas weekend, is Fisher College West. They won the CECC East regional winners. That's right, the West team, the East regional winners. They come in at the number 1 seed, and they will be competing in Group A. I would not want to be in Group A at the moment, as that is one stacked conference group right there. So that's going to round out all Smash Brothers Ultimate. You can see it here. All the teams in their respective groups. The landscape has been set. And what a difficult one is going to be with ultimate teams in the country. That's wonderful to see it. Now, let's welcome in Miles as we have the bracket entered here. And let's just talk to him a little bit, as he is our expert on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Let's bring him in and get some words from Miles to see kind of what he thinks of the bracket and how it shakes up. There he is, the Final Fantasy master himself. Miles is in the building. What's going on, brother?
I'm very happy to be here, Paulie, and very excited to talk about these teams. The first thing you touched on very briefly, we got 4 Texas teams here. In Texas, It's a unique region. They don't get the opportunity to play against other non-Texas teams that often. Even in our South qualifiers, even though there were 1 or 2 Florida teams in there, it was all Texas all the way. They were dominant, and I'm curious to see how these 4 Texas teams are going to stack up.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Miles. You know, you're the master of knowledge here on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So we just saw how all the groups played out, and I need to know, what's the Miles pick for SSBU in each group? Who's coming out? Or if you want to give your 1 and 2, that'd be fine too.
Yeah, so in each group, Group A, I hate to say it, but there's no question. Even though Group A has my biggest dark horse, which is UC Riverside, who qualified at CECC West, it's gonna have to be Fisher College West. They are unquestionably the best college team in the nation, arguably the world, and there's really no touching them. Group B, ooh, it's a tough one. Michigan State has been fairly dominant, especially this season of all seasons, but St. John's, they have been... Here's the thing, Super Smash Brothers, it's a very different game in person than it is online, and they really want to get through it. But yeah, now I think Group C, definitely the most competitive. Keep your eye on UT Arlington. I told you the power scaling is all whack. They have potential to upset Fisher. And of course, Winthrop came in with the upset in the LCQ. Keep your eyes on them. We barely got to see Winthrop in the entire CECC. Came in at the last minute, and they are shaking things up.
I love to see that. Miles will be down here to Texas this weekend. You know, we looked over the bracket. We saw the playing field. Who's going to be down there? You know, what are some of the things, or what are some of the moments that you were just the most excited to see this weekend down?
Well, a lot of these players, they are looking forward for their chance to practice in person, side by side, with some of the best players in the world, and that's going to show. They have been prepping. We've been doing these interviews all in the back of the scene, and they're all just so excited. They're all smiles. They're all happy, because Smash, it's an in-person esport. They love to see each other. They love to shake each other's hand. They love to throw down. They love to, you know, spike a controller or two. And they're looking to finally get the chance to do that in person with 16 of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, there's no question about it. This is going to be so exciting. So as before we wrap up things here, you know, we're going down. Biggest, best college esports tournament we did last year, of course, the CECC. How does it feel to now, once again, we were at Atlanta. Now we're coming back over to Texas, to Esports Stadium Arlington. Personally, what are you the most excited for this weekend at CECC Texas?
There's so much to choose from, Paulie. All in all, I'm excited for the chance to see the biggest esports stadium in the entire country. A stadium that can actually do justice to both the crowds and the players, as there's going to be stuff happening in every single corner. There's tournaments that aren't even going to be on stream. There's so many things happening that I can't imagine ever being bored for a millisecond down there.
Well, bring your energy, Miles, because you already know what it means to be part of the Esports U network of talent. We're going to be out there, all of us, and it's going to be long days, long nights, tons of fun. Miles, I can't wait to hang out with you this weekend and get your commentary on Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Thank you so much for joining the Barbasol Skins Smooth Selection Show.
Thank you very much, Paulie.
Absolutely. Well, that was Killer Miles, everyone. He will be joining us this weekend down in Texas as our Super Smash Brothers Ultimate analyst. He is just so knowledgeable, amazing commentator. Love hearing from Killer Miles. However, we need to move along down the line. And coming up next, we have the storyline, the standings, the competition of Rocket League. However, first, let's head to an exclusive interview from Bass from the Pass and Slayer from IRSC Riverside. Let's take a look now.
Hello, everybody. I'm here with IRSC's Slayer. Slayer, great to finally be able to talk to you again, man. It's been a little while since you and I were able to speak, but now we are speaking with the land bit officially here. You guys are heading to CECC in Texas and Arlington, and honestly, first and foremost, before we get any further into it, I have to imagine you are excited for the event here, as this is going to be a huge land with a lot of big names.
Oh yeah, no, it's exciting. I mean, it's going to be our first LAN of the year, first LAN as a team, so definitely very exciting. I believe we are just going to go into the event super excited, super pumped just to go and travel as a team. But also just because it's like it's a good way to pretty much wrap up the year. You know, it's a good way.
I mean, speaking of wrapping up the year, you guys have had a very up and down year. You came into this one being probably one of the teams that I think a lot of people had question marks about. You very quickly proved that. You founded this IRSC Rocket League team, not necessarily by yourself, but you were kind of the guy spearheading this whole venture. Can I get you to just speak a little bit more about that? Because it feels like you put in so much effort to get these guys here and really did a lot of specific picking. Because you take an ex-pro in Seabass, a ranked grinder in Taco Stash, who two people who you knew had potential, but now at the end of the year, seeing this kind of all pay off, gotta feel good that you have not only founded this team, but really done such a good job to create such a solid group of individuals.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty crazy for sure. I mean, we had pretty high goals and expectations throughout the year, but I mean, at the end of the day, when we first came into it, we just wanted to see what we could do, and we proved a lot of people wrong. And you know, obviously, we missed out on a couple opportunities throughout the year that obviously we would love to have back. But I mean, we made it to this one. We made it to this incredible land. So we're super excited, like I said before. You know, just the whole process of getting the team together was pretty unique. You know, being able to kind of hand select my teammates this year was pretty nice. And you know, for me, the biggest thing wasn't necessarily just skill, but more so just like mentality, mindset, and just who were good team players. And at the end of the day, I feel like we did a very good job showcasing that throughout the year, and that's a big part of the reason why we're here and we're ready to compete at this LAN.
It's gotta feel kind of like this is not necessarily the last hurrah, but it's sort of a redemption, if you will. You have most of the teams that are competing in North America coming into the CRL World Championship. They're now also going to be at this LAN. Are you guys looking at this as sort of a chance to prove yourselves, to sort of show, hey, we might have missed out on that, but we are still going to dominate you guys here in Texas regardless? Is that the approach, or is it just sort of, hey, it's another day, another dollar, another LAN?
It's a mix of both. I mean, me personally, I love lands and competing, but you know, like you said, it is definitely a chance to prove myself. I feel like that's something I love to do is compete at lands. I've competed at a lot of local lands, so this will be like the first one that's like kind of like a bigger deal, right? And like you said, it's been tough with CRL, but this is the land that we did qualify for, and it's still a very big one with some top-notch teams. So we're ready to come into it, you know, swinging and take out everyone that we have in our path.
I mean, you guys are definitely going to have to go through the gauntlet here. A lot of really strong teams. Like I said, most of the representatives going to CRL Worlds are still here as well. We have got Stockton, Northwood, Columbia, Fisher, WVU. All the big names are going to be here, including you guys. Is there any team in particular you guys kind of have your eyes on? Because I spoke to you a little bit during the LCQ and a couple other competitions about teams that you had ideas of who might be a little bit of a struggle, but you might still be able to overcome. Anyone in particular here that you guys are kind of gunning for, looking to be able to really eliminate and kind of put your stamp on it, if you will?
Yeah, no. For me, I think, I mean, at the end of the day, all of them are very good teams. I think Northwood's a solid team. We've gone back and forth with them throughout the year. But personally, for me, you know, it's more. I really want to beat Columbia because I don't think they're as good as you know they were in fall, and there's been like trash talk between me and Cam, and I don't know. I just want to play them somehow and just beat them because I don't think they're that good.
it's Fighting Words. It's Fighting Words that actually are kind of back, though. Columbia doesn't necessarily have the best track record on land. So there's a world where we could see that happening, but it's a world that you guys got to get into the playoffs first. You got to make it out of groups, then get it into playoffs here. You guys have any expectations for how you're going to finish here overall, or is it just sort of shoot for the top and see if, land amongst the stars?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think with it just being basically our last event of the year, and we're just giving it everything we've got. We're just shooting as far as we can. Obviously, the end goal is to win the whole thing, but at the end of the day, we have to take it one step at a time. We've been at the top before. We've also been at the bottom where we lose to teams that we shouldn't have. So we've seen both sides of it, and we know that we just have to stay level-headed and just like take it as it goes. We have to make it out of groups first, and then make playoffs, and then just keep battling through that. So it's a process for sure, but at the end of the day, I think we proved that we can beat anybody. We just have to be in the right mindset and just ready to go. So we're gonna come to game, and we're excited. We're ready.
Well, I'm ready to see you in Arlington as well. We're very close to the event, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know you guys got to practice, you got to get ready, you got to get mentally prepared for what is to come. Wish you the best of luck. I know a lot of people are rooting this team on. You guys have been the underdogs for so long, like I said, and I think people are now kind of sick of just giving you that underdog title. They want to see you guys as champions as well. So, Slayer, appreciate you coming through here, my friend. Good luck at the event. I'll be seeing you very soon.
Thank you for having me, and as always, much love.
Much love, sir. Much love.
We also have a very short surprise from the members and friends of IRSC. Seabass plans to retire from Rocket League altogether after CECC, so we got together a couple of messages to talk about Seabass and the legacy that he has carried thus far to one of our favorite players of all time. This one's for you, Seabass.
When I first started teaming with Seabass, he surprised me a lot, scoring some of the most insane angled goals I've ever seen. It's been an absolute honor to team with Seabass, and I want to thank him for coming in last minute before the season started. And I want to wish him the best luck moving forward with literally anything he does.
Hey Seabass, it's Nick or Vaudable, and it's been great to see the way that you have evolved throughout the years of competition. It's sad to see you go, but great to see you rise to the challenge and fly above the rest. You've made some waves in the collegiate scene, and now it's time to take them to the next level for your final land before you end things off with a bang. It's been great to see you, and I hope to see you this weekend. Congrats on your retirement, but also go out and get that victory.
Congrats, Seabass, on a wonderful career, and you hold a special place in my heart because I remember you hit such a crazy goal, I believe in a qualifier match for either RLRS or going in from RLRS to RLCS, that I was like, you know what, let's just buy an RGB esports jersey. I'll support this team if this guy's on it. And then even beyond that, you got into CRL later, which is mainly what I cast, and it's been a pleasure to watch you play. You're such a good player all throughout your career's run, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
What's up, Sebastian? First and foremost, congratulations on your last event. However it goes, I really hope the best for you going forward, whether it's in the space or outside of it. And even outside of that, congratulations on an incredible career. It's been a privilege to cover you, not only in the pro space, but also in the CRL space. It's been an absolute ball of a time to cover your incredible journey throughout professional Rocket League. And I only wish you the best going forward. So with that, good luck.
Seabass, beyond just having a similar name to myself, you were one of the first Rocket players I ever really cheered for. You had a legacy beyond compare, not only within the collegiate space, but in RLCS well before that. And when you came to the collegiate space, I was oh so excited. As a friend of Slayer's, as a fan of IRSC, to hear him rebuild this roster with your name on it really gave me a very excited feeling about the year, and you guys exceeded expectations even beyond that. Being one of the most competitive rosters in all of CRL and in all of collegiate Rocket League, even outside of that main circuit this year. Thank you again, Seabass, for all that you have done for both the professional scene and the collegiate scene. No one will ever forget you, and I very, very, very doubt anyone will ever be able to top the legacy that you have left. Congratulations, Seabass, on a career worth celebrating.
I just want to wish Seabass the best of luck in his future endeavors and say that it was an honor to be able to befriend him and grow with him and learn from him while he was still in his pro career, and I hope that everything goes well for him in his future.
I just wanted to say thank you, man. You helped build a legacy here at IRSC, and you are always part of the IRSC family. Happy retirement. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you again.
Once again, we just saw Bass and Slayer from Riverside College. That amazing retirement video right there. Congratulations and best of luck on the journey, of course. But coming up next, we have to go into the Rocket League seeds and brackets. So let's see where this tournament competition field starts to play out. So we start off with University of Mount Union. They qualified in from the Great Lakes Esports Conference, the GLEC. They're the 16th seed, and they will be competing in Group A. Next up, we have Old Dominion University. They entered through the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference, of course, maintaining the 15th seed, and they will be in Group B. Next up, we have the College of Staten Island. Those Dolphins, woo! They competed and entered through the East Coast Conference, the ECC. They are the 14th seed in the competition, and they will be competing in Group C. They also competed in the CECC Last Chance Qualifier. They were in the ECAC Top 32, and they're 5 times, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-time ECC champion in College of Staten Island. Next up, we have Iona University, who entered in through the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. They will be the 13th seed here in the tournament. They will be competing in Group D, and they were also the ECAC Spring 2023 runner-ups. So another powerhouse there. Next, we have Weber State University. Weber State competed and qualified through the Big Sky Conference. They come in at the 12th seed, and we'll see them competing in Group D. Also, a little bit of information. They did an upset over the University of Oregon in the CECC West groups to secure a spot. That was Grand Canyon University. Grand Canyon University, they come in as the CECC West regional winners, the 11th seed, and they, of course, upset University of Oregon in the West groups to secure their spot in. Well done. They'll be competing in Group C. Next up, we have Bruton Parker College. Bruton Parker College. They won the CECC South Regional. They come in here at the 10th seed, and they come in through Group B to compete in. They were also in the ECAC Spring 2023 Top 8, but lost to Fisher College. Next up, University of Texas Arlington. They won the Texas Wildcard Rocket League spot. They come in at the 9th seed, and we'll see them competing in Group A this weekend at CECC Texas. Of course, they were a CRL Spring 2023 and a Top 6 finish. Moving right along, we have Stockton University next. Stockton, one of the powerhouses here in Collegiate Rocket League. They won the CECC East Regional. They come in at the 8th seed, and they will be competing in the A grouping. The team is currently in the CRL World Championship 2023, and they were also the CRL World Championship 2023 LCQ winners. Well done, Stockton. They'll join us this weekend down in Texas. Next up, we have West Virginia University. West Virginia comes in as the last chance qualifier, second place winner. They come in at the 7th seed, and they will be competing in the B group. They're currently also in the CRL World Championship, and they finished CRL Spring 2023 East Top 8 finish. Next up, we have Boise State University. Boise, they won CECC West Regional. We were out there as the home team, and they wound up going the distance to win it as the 6th seed. They will be competing in the C grouping, and they are also in the CRL World Championship 2023, and they were the West Top 8 finish winners of Spring 2023 CRL. Well done, Boise. We'll see them down in CECC Texas. Next up is Indian River State University. Indian River State, we've heard this name a lot here, blossoming in the collegiate scene. They were the last chance qualifier winners here at the CECC. They come in at the 5th seed, and we'll see them competing in the D group, currently a CRL Spring 2023 East Top 8 finish. Moving right along, we have Columbia College. Columbia College, they wound up winning the National Esports Collegiate Conference, and they come in at the 4th seed, and they will be also competing in the D group. This team is currently in the CRL World Championship 2023. They were the CRL Fall 22 NA winners, and they were the CRL Spring NA top 4 finish. So this team has been placing all over the place. Columbia College coming in from the National Esports Collegiate Conference. Next up, we have the University of Akron. Akron won the Mid-American Conference, the MAC. They come in at the 3 seed, and we wind up seeing them in the Group C. They're currently in that CRL World Championship as well, and they were the CRL Spring 2023 NA winners. Next up, at the 2 seed is Fisher College again. Fisher College, they come in as the Eastern College Athletic Conference winners. They come in at the 2 seed, and they will be competing in Group B. They will also slide to compete at the CRL World Championship 23. They won the ECAC Fall 22 and Spring 23 champions, and they were the CRL Fall 22 and Spring 23 and a top 4 finish. So Fisher College, no exception here in Rocket League, a powerhouse nonetheless. But next, the number 1 seed here is Northwood University. They were the CECC Midwest Regional winners. They come in as the number 1 seed, and they will be competing in Group A. Ooh, that group is stacked, and it is going to be the defending CECC 2022 champions. Woo! They also are currently in the CRL 23. They were the CRL Fall 22 NA runner-ups, and they were the CRL Spring 23 NA winners. So Northwood University coming in at the 1 seed. We will see all 16 of these teams. Let's take a look. Here is the group landscape at the Barbasol Smooth Skin Selection Show. And this is amazing here as we take a look at all 16. Coming up next, we have a very special bring-in here as we will see more talent from CECC as we bring along in Chixa. Chixa, come on in and give us your expert Rocket League experience and advice here on the Barbasol Spin Selection Show. Hey, Chixa, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited that we finally got our seeding out. So many wonderful teams. Of course, you mentioned 6 of them in CRL World Championship. So we are just stacked with talent across the board.
I love it. Chixa, we've just seen the group here. We're taking a look at all the teams that are in. You're our Rocket League analyst. Tell us, who are you the most? Give us an underdog and who you think is going to advance from each group.
Oh my goodness. Advancing, from each group, we have definitely our top seeds easily are all in the top seeds for a reason, but you're going to see the likes of Boise State with, Dirtho in particular normally gets a lot of the light, but Gil, really massive defender warrior, looking at them in that 6th seed. Group A, of course, you mentioned it, stacked team with both Stockton and UTA in it. That is a coin flip in the making, depending on who has the better day, and we've seen the likes of Stockton go brawling against Northwood before, so that's certainly going to be interesting. And then, we mentioned IRSC a ton today. Seabass as well played an important little role in my career. I remember his debut on one of the teams in RLCS that I really got my first NA cast on. So really excited to see how that team does as well, with Seabass playing really in that last tournament, and Slayer, of course, and the rest of the team being up to the task. So a lot of talent. As I mentioned, it's really hard to pick who moves on forward, since so many teams, if they have the right day at LAN, are feeling confident, can definitely get that sort of upset going.
No question about it. We'll see all the action. It's really tough to pick these teams in the groups with so many top contenders across the entire country, and further out than that, looking to contend here in Rocket League. Chixa, you joined us this year for 23 at the CECC Texas. What are you the most excited for or looking forward to this weekend at CECC Texas?
It's my first LAN. I'm excited to actually be in person on the desk, at my first event. It's also conveniently maybe only 10 minutes from my house, so it feels local in my backyard to be, the biggest collegiate event of the year right here, right now. So I'm excited to see everybody in person and really, get my feet wet in this first LAN event for me.
Well, I have to say you picked a pretty good event to be your first ever LAN event, the biggest, largest college esports LAN ever in history. And some of us have to travel 6, 8, 10, 12 hours. You get to just roll out and come 10 minutes away. Chixa, that's awesome. It's going to be such a magical weekend to spend your first LAN here at CECC Texas. Do you have any last closing remarks before we head out here and move on to the Overwatch portion of the show?
You know what? It's just going to be a good one. It's Rocket League always stacked with talent, so fast paced. And I know Bass and Taco both casting it in each and every game on screen. They're just going to make it 10 times better. So excited for the talent on the field and in the booth. We're really going to shine and give Rocket League all the talent, and, it deserves all of it.
Excellent. Shakespeare, real quick, what's your final one pick? If you were to pick one team now that you were to estimate before we saw any competition, any play, just look at the field here. What's your one pick from Rocket League? Who's moving on?
I'm going to say University of Akron. They have 2 teams that they could have potentially played as a roster. They picked the 3 best they felt moving on forward that could go. So I think this 3 seed has a lot more than we expect coming out of them, and they're going to give a good showing on the field.
All right, Chicks, that was excellent analyst work to start things off. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you this weekend down at CECC, Texas. All right, so that concludes. You just heard from Chixa. She's our expert Rocket League analyst this weekend down at CECC, Texas. When we come back, we will have some Overwatch 2 action. We're going to get into the seeding, the brackets, the standings. Overwatch 2, one of the most coveted games. My personal favorite out of the 4 here in CECC is Overwatch 2. So without further ado, before we get into the seeds, we have a special content piece between Septilence and Flutie from Illinois State University, the powerhouse. Let's take a look in with Septilence and Flutie and see what they have to say.
Hello, everybody. My name is Septilence, and I am joined in this interview by Megan Lomanoff, aka Flutie, the head Overwatch coach for ISU, for the Redbird Esports program, one of the most notorious Titan Colossus teams in the program, in the collegiate world right now. So, Megan, just my first question for you right out the gate here is, of course, like I said, one of the largest programs, one of the most successful, most well-known programs in the country. So how is it that you guys are able to stay one of the most notorious, one of the most, because it's very easy to make a good team great, right? But to stay great with the caliber of consistency your program brings to the table, I've always been curious to ask, how do you do it?
I'm going to say that's fueled by 2 big things. One, an immensely strong and large, robust club program. So we always have support, we grew from the bottom up. And secondly, I'm going to say, even Waits has now moved on to Toronto Defiant, and I was me as well. I'd say the 2 of the things we were strongest at was scouting and, hence recruitment. And we need a very particular type of player, one that has a heavy focus on academics, can actually get admitted to the school, and also has the talent level. So it is a lot of work. It's a tall order. And then third, I'd say that there's actually a transition period. So we have a system and a culture that works for us, and we have had a steady stream of people go to OWL, and we keep on transitioning onto the next, and our system seems to be working.
Yeah, I mean, certainly so. The numbers do not lie. The success of the program is undeniable. And going into the CECC Arlington here, you have qualified for a spot, one of the top 16 teams across the entire country. So going into this, I'm sure you know the expectation of a large target on your back, right? Like I mentioned, one of the most notorious programs. So is there any kind of extra training or hyper-specific focuses you're going into this weekend of like, let's not let them see us crumble. Let's focus on blank here to make sure we can still succeed?
We go into every tournament. We want to win every tournament we enter,
right?
And we want to win every game we play. And I don't think that's a secret. And if people kind of call us specialists of the losers bracket, we come up and we make our run it back runs, but that's exactly kind of us, oh, we made a mistake, let's go learn from it. And so you can always know that the next time you see us will be better than the last. So I'd say that reputation holds up here, and whenever you saw us last, we're going to be even stronger.
I love that as well. It's one of my favorite mindsets in any competitive setting is like, yeah, sometimes you're just going to lose. Like you can't win without losing, right? But it's what you do with that loss that is the value, rather than just dwelling on it. Learning from it is always super important. And going into this weekend, Redbird, amongst the Titans here, is there any one team or a couple of teams you're like, we really cannot wait to go head to head on the largest collegiate stage against this team?
We always have our favorite competitors in collegiate, and this year I'm going to say it's been Northwood and Maryville. But I'm going to say there's been some like shining gems coming up. But I'm going to say those are our biggest competitors. And so anytime we get a chance to play other one, I'm pretty sure Maryville won the last chance qualifier. We just have the greatest times in those games. We want the challenge, because that's how we're going to be better. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's what matters, is going up against the highest caliber, right? The highest echelon. That's why we compete, to grow and to improve. And I feel like this is kind of a weird question, but I'd like to get your take on it, because your program, as I've mentioned before, notoriable, very recognizable. But does this kind of add anything to the program of being like, hey, look, we have made it, you've been on some of the largest esports stages in the world, but just going to these events, does that really help kind of add credibility to the program as all collegiate esports programs? It's still in its infantile stages. Does this help show the non-esports people like, wow, there really is something going on here?
We still brag about being the CECC champions from last year. And I'm going to say that we are super excited to come back. Every single championship is important to us. And because we had such a great time, because we had such a great experience, shout out to Neon Star for running a great tournament. Really appreciate her. But because we had such a good experience, CECC is extremely valued by us. And we'd love to brag about it. We love to hype it up. And we're just looking at another championship.
Yeah, that's what we'd love to hear, because not only were you the first successful champions, made history in one way, it'd be the first back-to-back. That's all I'm saying. It would be pretty amazing. But I do think the odds are high. So going into this, the main stage is a very familiar place for your players to be. They often tend to be in the spotlight. I've stressed that a lot throughout this interview. But is there any kind of pre-game ritual or preparation that you guys do to kind of force yourselves to treat it like any other game? Because there is that undeniable difference of playing in your own house at your own desk and then playing on the main stage with all the lights and the cameras and all the eyes on you. Is there really any nerves left for your players to have, or do you think they're kind of numb to it at this point?
No, they get nervous just like anybody else, but I would say they all have their own individual routines.
Sure.
Gabe will say a prayer. Moving Fish 7 will show up an hour early and put everything together. Vision will brush his teeth and wash his hands. I think everybody has their own ritual and what they eat and drink before. Grathan needs his Starbucks. So, it's a list of things. But I'd say each individual has their routine. I'm an early riser, so I've already woken up and gone to the gym. But I'd say we all have our own thing to deal with game day, and it's pretty routine actually.
So just one more quick question for you, a little more about the program. If there was somebody that's watching this that attends the school or is going to in the future, and they're like, that's a program I'd really want to be a part of, is there a critical first step they can take to try and kind of make that come true?
Absolutely. So there's contact information and info stuff on the Illinois State website. You can just look up the esports portion. You can also hit us up on Discord through any of our socials, and we'll steer you in the right direction, whether that's the club level from any skill level. That's up to varsity. Obviously if it's Overwatch, I'll happily, steer you in the right direction personally. But we're out there. Any of those venues and avenues are good for you to find us, and we'll get you to where you need to go.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining me for this interview. Your team's always been one of my favorites to watch, and I'm so glad we finally get to talk about them a little bit. It's been great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for the interview.
Of course. Thank you. We'll see you in Arlington soon.
See you then.
Interesting interview. Welcome back there with Flutie and Septilence, our floor host for the CECC Texas. Now let's go quickly over the Overwatch 2 seedings here and the groups the teams will be playing in. A lot of teams on their seed here for this one. Coming up first, we have Mount St. Mary's University. They won their bid through the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. They come in at the 16th seed as Group A. Next up, we have Southern New Hampshire University. They won the East Coast Conference. They come in as the 15th seed. They were in Group B, and they were the 4 times ECC champions. Coming up next, we have University of Houston. They came in through the National Esports Collegiate Conference. They come in as the 14th seed, and they compete in the Group C. Next up is UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas. They won the Mountain West Conference out there in the West. They are the 13th seed at this event, and they will be competing in Group D. Coming up next is Miami University of Ohio. Of course, they come in through the Mid-American Conference, and they are the 12th seed in Group D. So, of course, the 12th seed there in Group D is Miami University. That's, of course, in Ohio. Bethel University is the next. Bethel University, they won the Great Lakes Esports Conference. They come in at the 11th seed, and they are competing in Group C. Next up is Blinn College. Blinn College, they won the National Junior Conference at College Athletic Association of Esports. and they are in the 10th seed. We'll see them competing in Group B. So Blinn, big notable team to watch there. Next up is Bryant and Stratton College, Virginia. They won the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference. They are the 9th seed, and they are competing in Group A. Notable as well, they are the NJC AAE Spring 2023 winners, Bryant and Stratton. Next up, this is one of the crowd favorites, Ball State University. Ball State, they wind up winning the Eastern College Athletic Conference. They come in at the 8th seed. They are in Group A. Next up is Converse University. Converse University comes in at CECC South Regional winners. They are the 7th seed, and they wind up competing in Group B. Notably, they are also first place at the Peach Top 16 finish. Next, we have St. Clair College. St. Clair College, they won the CECC Canada qualifiers winner, so they'll be representing up north Canada as they come in at the 6th seed. They are competing in Group C, and they are the OWCC Top 12 finish team, as well as the OWC Homecoming Top 6 finish team. Next up, we have University of Texas, Dallas. They were the Texas Wild Card winners. They come in at the 5th seed, and they will be competing in Group D. That's University of Texas, Dallas. Next up, we have Fisher College. Fisher College, they were the CECC East Regional winners. They come in at the 4th seed, and they will be competing in Group D. Notable to mention with Fisher, they're the OWCC Top 12 finish team, OWC Homecoming 3rd place team, and the ECAC Fall 2022 and Spring 23 winners. In Fisher, 4th seed for Overwatch 2. Next up, we have Boise State University. When we went out to Boise, they won the West Regional. They won on their home turf. They are coming in at the 3 seed here at CECC Texas. They are in Group C, and they were an OWCC Top 12 finish. They were a Mountain West Conference winners. They were also the OWC Homecoming Top 32 finish. They'll be in the 3rd seed. Next is Maryville University, powerhouse Maryville. They won the Last Chance qualifier, and they come in at the 2 seed. They'll be competing in Group B. Feel bad for Group B there. Maryville stacking it up. Maryville, Converse, Blinn, and Southern New Hampshire's Group B. But Maryville were the OWCC 3rd place, lost to the Redbirds right there. And now, once again, the number 1 seed. It brings me great respect and honor to say them, the Illinois State University Redbirds. They won our Midwest Regional Qualifier. They are the defending CECC 2022 Overwatch champions. They were the OWCC runner-ups, and they were the OWC homecoming winners. Put some respect on their name. Back to defend their championship is Illinois State University in the number 1 seed, the Redbirds. Well, there you go. Now you have it. Let's take a look at the groups. This is how they're going to shake up to start out CECC Texas for Overwatch 2. But before we move on, we have a very special treat as we will be welcoming in our Overwatch 2 analyst, Septilence, for his reaction. Septilence, what's going on, man? We just saw the bracket group stage of CECC Texas.
I'm muted, but I'm not anymore. What's up, Paulie? I am super excited, brother. I think we've got a lot of great teams coming into this, and I think there are a lot of teams. This is one of the games going into this. I think the winner is absolutely not set in stone.
Absolutely, no question about it, and I'm glad you have the mic on so we can get this excellent analyst work. You saw all the groups. We've been doing this with all the analysts so far. I'm curious, who are your standout? What are these standout groups? Who are the ones that you're looking to advance on, and who is maybe a dark horse across the playing field?
I think the teams that I'm definitely looking to extend here, of course, there's the easy answers, right? Like Redbird and Maryville, two of the most effective teams in the country. But I think just underneath that echelon, I think Boise and Fisher both have a really high chance of going at least to grand finals, if not winning them. I know Boise is grinding every single day. I know Fisher is constantly trying to improve. And I think they've got a really good chance of going toe-to-toe with those guaranteed giants, right? Lower down the roster, though, I do want to give a shout out to both UTD and Bethel.
Sure.
I think these are two teams that we don't get to see a lot of during the main season, but coming into CECC, they're coming in with a lot to prove, and I actually have good friends on both of those teams. I know they've been putting in the work. I know they've been putting in the hours, and I'm hoping that it's all worthwhile and they can really make a statement going into this weekend.
Yeah, Overwatch 2, one of our feature premier games. So much prowess here on just a 5-man team, and so much legacy in Overwatch 2. How is just the collegiate landscape of Overwatch been shaping throughout the year? I know you cast in all the different conferences. How's the Overwatch 2 landscape shaping up, and how does it kind of feel to be at the culmination of it down at CECC Texas as our Overwatch 2 analyst?
I think it's really exciting to be in a circumstance like that, because during the kind of end era of Overwatch 1, there was naturally a decline. We weren't getting a lot of increase in the game. There wasn't a lot of increased popularity. There weren't anything being added. But as Overwatch 2 came out in October, a lot of these teams got super excited and they started drafting new people, and the competitive scene of the game really has come back to life, and it's created a space for these players to want to get better and want to improve and want to just kind of show that they can bring it all to the table when it matters most. So I think the collegiate scene is really lucky, and I think we at CECC are very lucky to have teams this passionate and this excited, because I know that all 16 of these teams coming into this are bringing their absolute A game. And I think a lot of that has to do with the new growth and development of the game. They want to be the best, as the best has to continue to change and adapt. They want to show they can adapt through it all. And that calls for some really good competition.
No question about it. And they can prove it all at CECC Texas, the culmination of our whole year in the competitive college esports space. If you were looking forward to one thing before we head it out to Dallas this weekend, what is something that you're really looking forward to or hope that you see down at CECC Texas?
So I was at a different LAN outside of CECC this past weekend, and the grand finals was Maryville versus Boise. It was a 3-1 series in favor of Maryville, but that 3-1 will never dictate how close it was. The final map separated by 4 meters. Boise genuinely as close as they could have been without winning. I'm hoping to see that run back. I'm hoping to see that matchup again, because I really do think if Boise can take down Maryville, they can probably take down anybody. And I really want to see if they're able to do that this weekend.
It is going to be so much exciting stuff, Septolins. I saw you have the Septolins thing in the background there. Well, I got the Pauly Hype one right here. How do I get it over? There we go. It's going to be Pauly Hype, Septolins weekend. Septolins, thank you so much for joining us. Floor host, interviewer, commentator, analyst. We've got him here for everything. Septolins, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you this weekend.
Thanks for having me. See you soon.
Texas. Absolutely. We're so looking forward to, always look forward to hearing from Septolins. Now, we have to move on right along. That was the Overwatch 2 predictions and the seedings, of course. But now we need to move on to some serious stuff. Now I gotta get serious now. I gotta get serious. Okay. Let's stop messing around. This next game requires seriousness. Okay, now, but we have Valorant coming up next. Valorant's coming up next. But seriously, this is, I don't know. You can ask a lot of people. They might have a different answer. But to me, Valorant is the top of the top college esport right now. It is so serious, so much quality competition. But first, before we get into the seeding, I know you all want to see it, but before we get into the Valorant seeding, let's hear from Septolins once again, who sat down with Hybrid from St. Clair to talk about recent successes and the Northwood upset. Septolins, St. Clair, over to you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another interview here with Septolins. This time, my interviewee, of course, has changed. It is Hybrid, the Valorant manager from St. Clair, who is really coming into this year with a lot to prove. So, Hybrid, being kind of one of the newer teams to the CECC, do you feel like you guys are going into this with a lot of expectation, a lack of expectation? What exactly is this team looking to do when they enter those doors at Arlington?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have high expectations going into the tournament. I mean, obviously every team is going to go in saying like, oh yeah, we want to win. But I feel like we've proved ourselves, especially over the past couple of weeks, that, we're a strong contending team. And, if you underestimate us, it's going to go poorly.
Yeah.
So, we definitely have high expectations going into
it. You love to hear it. And I think you guys pretty reasonably have high expectations, right? Because St. Clair has, as many teams have never, has beaten the Northwood Valorant team before, one of the best Valorant teams in the country. So going into this, Northwood's going to be there. Do you think something like that almost turns you into legends or turns you into targets, right? Are people like, okay, they need to go early? Or do you think you guys have accidentally gained a lot of respect by taking down the untakedownable known as Northwood?
I think we've gained somewhat of respect, but I think a lot of people are putting like targets on our backs. We're one of those teams who like talks a lot on Twitter, so not a lot of people like us. But no, it's definitely gonna be fun. But yeah, I feel like we definitely have a target on our back going into this.
Yeah, so looking at all the teams here, Northwood included, is there anybody you're really looking forward to playing, or if there's any kind of rematch you're looking for, or, you know, if there's a team you're like, yeah, we might be able to win them, hopefully we run into them to push ourselves a little further down the line?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things that we advocate for is like cross-region play, and we don't really get to see that a lot during like the regular season and all that kind of stuff. So playing against Fisher will be awesome. Playing against Blinn, who we never get the chance to play against, that that's definitely going to be awesome. Converse as well. These teams that we really don't get to see because we play in the North Division
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff, and just something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of going into this, I think this is really interesting, right? Because you are a Canadian-based school, and we don't have a lot of those in the CECC. I believe you're the only one that is qualified for the actual event. Do you feel like there is some kind of step being taken here for these programs to kind of help the Canadian schools get more integrated into the focus of U.S. collegiate programs? Because I feel like we haven't seen that collision very much. But St. Clair coming in and then also doing as well as you guys have been able to do you think this is kind of the beginning of building some bridges?
We definitely have, we're definitely lucky to be backed by such an awesome program. And I think other schools in Canada are starting to see like the success that we put on because we're kind of like in terms of like all the colleges in
Right.
Canada, we're like one of the lesser known colleges, but obviously with other schools seeing our success and they're starting to pick it up. For example, Conestoga is building a great program. And you see here, like we have Carleton's female team coming and Quinnipiac also coming from Quebec as well. So definitely awesome to see that Canadian representation like at CECC. We're very prideful as Canadians, but yeah, no, I definitely think that Canadian programs are starting to see that too.
Yeah, you love to hear that. That is always very exciting. And going into this, I think, we've definitely talked about the expectation of this team. You guys have to travel one of the furthest teams to get there as well. But is there anything, and this can go for every game, or if there's something different here for Arlington, what does kind of the pregame ritual look like, right? What is the pre-hype? Is your team familiar to playing on a large stage the way they're going to be this weekend? Or are you a little bit nervous about maybe some nerves?
Oh, we're not nervous at all. We're not nervous in the slightest. I mean, we play on a competition stage like for every single one of our games. If you ever seen pictures of our arena, like
Yeah.
exactly the stage that we play on. This is no like surprise to us really. We're definitely really excited and no nerves going into it. Every like pregame, we do like a pregame huddle and stuff like that. So you'll see that at CECC as well.
You love to hear it. Well, hey, Hybrid, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me, friend, and we will see you this weekend.
All right, nice to see you.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Paulie Hype, as we are here for the CECC Smooth Skin Selection Show presented by Barbasol. Welcome back. That was an amazing content segment. Once again, St. Clair with a massive upset over Northwood, punching their ticket in Valorant. So let's go over the bracket, the groups here as we head into Texas for the biggest game on the docket, Valorant. First up, we have Quinnipiac University. Quinnipiac, their bid was from the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, the MAC, MAAAC. They were seated in 16th, but they are going to be competing in Group A. Next up, we have University at Buffalo. University at Buffalo, they compete and hail into the bid from Mid-American Conference, the Mid-American Conference bid as the 15th seed, and they'll be competing in Group B. Next up, we have Army West Point Esports. This is a crowd favorite. They won the CECC Service Academy bid, and they will be coming in at the 14th seed, competing in Group C. This is the first ever Service Academy team to compete in CECC. So really excited to have Army West Point Esports down in Texas. Next up, we have University of South Florida Gold. They will be competing from the Eastern College Athletic Conference, and they are the 13th seed here in Texas, and they will be competing in Group D. Next up, we have UNLV. Once again, Las Vegas won the Mountain West Conference for Valorant, and we'll see them in the 12th seed competing in Group D. Check this out. They only dropped one single map in the Mountain West Conference, UNLV team to reckon with. Next up, we have Carleton University, FE. Carleton, they wound up winning the CECC Paideia qualifier winners. They come in as the 11th seed, and they'll be in Group C. They're the first ever all-female team to compete in the CECC. Woo! Now that's hype, and if that's not hype, then I don't know what is. They'll come in as the 11th seed. Carleton, looking forward to having you at CECC. Next up is Southern New Hampshire University. Southern New Hampshire, they come in from the East Coast Conference. The East Coast Conference, and they are the 10th seed competing in Group B, and they're the 3-time, not one, not two, but the 3-time ECC champions. Next up, we have Arizona State. Arizona State, they're the CECC West Regional winners. They come in at the 9th seed, and they'll be competing in Group A. They went undefeated in the CECC West qualifiers. Undefeated. Put my chair up. Thank you, Tony, my assistant. My chair was sliding down a little bit. Coming up next, we have Texas A&M. Texas A&M, they won the Texas Wild Card Valorant event. They come in at the 8th seed, and they are competing in the A group. They were second place in CVAL South Fall. CVAL South Fall, second place. Texas A&M on the radar. Next up, the interview was from this college, St. Clair College. CECC Canada qualifier winners in Valorant. They come in at the 7th seed. They are in the Group B, and they handed Northwood their first series loss since the Red Bull victory. That's an accomplishment in itself. Canada's team, St. Clair. Next up, we have Converse University. They won the Peach Belt Conference. They come in at the 6th seed, competing in the C group, and they were second place in CVAL East for fall. Next up, we have Blinn College. Blinn College, they won the CECC Lone Star qualifier winners down in Texas. They come in at the 5th seed. Blinn College, not a team to mess around with in Valorant. They are in the D group for their competition, and they were second place in CVAL South Spring, first place in CVAL South Fall. Next up, we have Winthrop. Winthrop University, they come in as the CECC South Regional winners. They are the 4th seed, of course, and they are in the Group D. They also, notable mentions, took second place in CVAL East Spring and first place in CVAL East Fall. Next up, a school we've been hearing a lot of, I was competing in Halo and I heard them in there as well, is Oklahoma Christian University. Oklahoma Christian University, they are the National Esports Collegiate Conference winners, and they will be showing up here in Valorant as the 3 seed. Wow, very high seed for Oklahoma Christian. They are competing in C grouping, and they also took first place in CVAL South Spring and second place in CVAL South Winter. Next up, we have Fisher College. Once again, a big 2 seed here, as they were the CECC East Regional winners in the 2 seed, fighting out of Group B. They were the ECAC Fall 2022 and Spring 23 champions. They also took first place in CVAL East Spring Tournament. And now, the number 1 seed in the country in the biggest game, Valorant, is once again Northwood University. They are the number 1 seed. CECC Midwest Regional winners. Put some respect on their name. They are in Group A, and they were the Red Bull Campus Clutch 2022 champions. They also were the CECC 2022 runner-ups. They were first place at CVAL Spring, CVAL Winter, and CVAL Fall. Northwood is not messing around. They were second place last year at CECC, and they're coming for the title once again, as they are here in first place as the seed for CECC 23. So we now see the group stage set for the final game of Valorant. And without further ado, we're going to bring in our Valorant analyst, Gompers, into the show to get her reactions. Gompers, it's good to see you. How you doing over there?
It's good. It's good. Oh my gosh, this was so abrupt. I'm here. I feel like I teleported. How are you, Paulie?
Welcome to the Skin Selection Show, of course, presented by Barbasol. So we just saw the groups all play out. Give us some of your feedback here after taking a look at the groups. Notable mentions, who you expect to maybe come out of groups, or some dark horses. Who you like here?
Man, I'm going to be honest. There's so many teams that really do catch my eye, right? We're talking Northwood, Fisher College, Carleton FE, right? Like, all of these teams have such a big chance at making it to that grand final spot. I feel like overall, everybody here is looking good. I think underdog's sake, I feel like we're talking, put some respect on Carleton FE's name. I'm going to drop that there. I feel like this team is going to make the best run that they possibly can at LAN. Maybe they're LAN demons. I don't know, but I'm excited to see.
Carleton FE, I want to talk about them for just a moment. They're the first all-female team coming into the CECC. You know, that is such a privilege in itself. Do you think that helps them coming in as that first ever prestige, or do you think the pressure maybe builds up a little bit on them? Or you've watched a lot of them in the Paideia Cup. Will they shine? Like you said, how will they showcase here?
They looked really good in the Paideia Cup. So I am a little bit biased, I will have to say. I do feel like the pressure is going to build, right? Like, it is hard to be in a room, you know, full of male students, marginalized genders, whatnot. But at the same time, you know, that does drive you harder. And that is going to make them and push them in the right direction and make those decisions and say, you know what, we're not going to lose to a bunch of these kids. Like, we're better than that.
Yeah, we heard a lot about them. That's excellent. I can't wait to see them down at CECC. What's something, you know, Gompers, that you're personally looking forward to now being down at CECC Texas? We're so excited to have you on the analyst desk.
Oh my, the skits, get ready. I've been cooking up a storm today with the things that I want to do. The creativity has hit and I'm ready for it. I want to give you guys an exciting show, and I just want to enjoy my time watching the teams and giving you know, again, that recognition towards the players. So just watch out. I'm cooking stuff up.
Okay, that's great. No holds barred for Gompers this weekend with the skits. That's fantastic, like always. Well, Gompers, we'll see you this weekend down at CECC Texas. That's Gompers. She's our Valorant analyst, one of the best in the business. That was the Valorant playing field. I can't get over how excited everyone is. I know we're all up here cheesing away as we are getting ready for really an event, a tournament that the Esports U, CSMG, Esports Foundry, and all the amazing teams in between have been working on tirelessly for you colleges, schools, universities, and most importantly, the students that are competing. We are going to throw the biggest, best LAN event in college esports that you all have ever seen, and I can't wait to be sharing the stage down there with all of you this weekend at CECC Texas. However, without further ado, we have a very special tribute and special message from the CEO of the Collegiate Sports Management Group, Michael Schreck. Michael, over to you.
Thank you, Paulie. Another awesome, smooth skin selection show for CECC 2023. I'm Michael Schreck, CEO and founder of Collegiate Sports Management Group, here to pay tribute to my dear friend and former CEO of Barbasol, Tom Murray. We lost Tom due to a battle of cancer over the last several years, and I just wanted to pay tribute to him. Tom lived his life through humor, friendship, with a ton of integrity and love, and we're here to make sure that legacy carries on forever. We love you, buddy.